Hey, what is up, everybody? It's Damron. We are on part 17, the second to the last part in our Far Cry 2 complete collectible and achievement guide. We're on part 17, which brings us to East Bowa Seko. So if you've been following my guide, you should be coming in from the northern portion of this section, as we finished northeast Bowa Seko in the previous video. So you should be coming in right here. You're going to come on this main road right next to the cellular tower. Again, we'll cover those missions a little bit later, but the first thing that we want to do is unlock the safe house that's in the northeastern portion of this section. So as I've mentioned in all the previous parts, and I will continue to remind you to please drop a save as you're getting to these safe houses. We don't want to have to backtrack. If you happen to die, you'll have to collect the collectibles that you got prior to saving. So keep dropping a save as we get to those. From that safe house, let's head south along the main road. It'll curl around and eventually will lead you to this river that you can see traversing East Bowa Seko. So you can see I'm at the end of that road, and again, just follow that, and at the very end of that road you're going to come to a dock that is kind of looking out into the river, so you know you're at the right location. It's actually a bridge broken on both sides, but at the end of the road, kind of right off the road, you're going to find your next diamond briefcase right sitting in the road for you to grab. From that diamond briefcase, let's just head south just a little bit, kind of cross over the road. We're going to stay on the eastern side of the river, kind of now in the grassy area off the shore a little bit. So you can see we're just south of that kind of broken bridge area. That's where we just got the diamond briefcase. And if you go just south of that, you're looking for a crashed airplane, you know, kind of up in the grass here next to a tree. Right in front of that crashed airplane is our 16th Jackal Tape. Again, these will play similar messages in the south, but don't worry about that. You are making progress. From that Jackal Tape, we're going to continue south just a little bit. Again, we're staying on the eastern side of the river, so you can see I'm just south from where we were getting that Jackal Tape. And what you're looking for is a dead tree that's kind of hanging over the river, and across from that, a rock that's kind of jutting out. So this is what you're looking for. You're going to have to approach this from the north, and if you're on the northern side of the eastern side of this section, you're going to see a small kind of hill that leads up into the rock face in that jutted rock area. So just kind of climb up here where I'm going, and you're gonna have to jump. It's kind of like a little bit silly, you have to make sure you're jumping in the right spot, but eventually you'll get on top of these rocks and you'll be able to climb out to the edge of that rock that's kind of jutting out, where you're gonna find your next diamond briefcase. So from that diamond briefcase, let's go ahead and continue south. We're going to cross over to the west side of the river now to our next guard post. As I've mentioned in previous guides, the guard posts are not necessarily tied to a achievement for getting them all, but they are great points of reference, and it's good to know what kind of supplies are in the different areas as you're playing the game. From that guard post, we're going to head back across the river now. You can see we're kind of just southeast of the guard post. We're kind of in the corner of this grassy area that's kind of at the edge of the map, right? So right at the kind of cliff edge. So I'm all the way up in the grass, and if you go all the way to the cliff edge, you'll see this kind of red barrel. That's how you know you're in the right location. But here's another golden AK for us. Again, these are also not tied to an achievement, but they're very reliable, don't jam a lot, so they're really great to have as we're grabbing all these collectibles and doing a lot of traversing of this area. So progress on the river, okay, so go around the little curve there, and you can see we're actually in the railroad crossing area, but we're down in the river, okay? So I'm in the river at the railroad crossing. You can see exactly where I'm at on the map, okay? This is exactly where you want to go, and I'm going to show you exactly what you have to do, because this one's a little bit tricky to get. But if you go exactly where I was, so you can see this is where the river kind of turns to the right, and there's that little encampment over there on the shoreline, okay? So this is the area you want to be. But if you're looking at the northern side of the river, where it's going east to west, you're looking for these kind of rocks that are kind of jutting off the edge a little bit, okay? There's a small rock right here that you can climb up, and when you get on that, you'll be able to jump on the ledge behind you, subsequently turn around, and you're going to be able to a run jump onto these little ones that are jutting off the rock here. And if you land on that ledge, you can now follow this ledge around to our next diamond briefcase sitting right in front of a bush. After you've collected that diamond briefcase, now go ahead and follow the river all the way to its southernmost point, where it will end, and it will end in a waterfall. So this is easy to find, obviously. So right at the end of the river, you will see a kind of dead tree that angles up a little bit, and it'll allow you to climb up onto these rocks on the right. And once you climb up on that rock, turn around, there'll be another tree that will allow you to run over to this small area where you'll find some clay pots and our next diamond briefcase sitting on this wooden bench here. Once you've collected that, now we're going to head back up to the kind of upper portion of the railroad crossing. Okay, so from the river, you'll have to use the east side of the railroad crossing, kind of the way I'm looking. You're gonna have to climb all the way up and then cross the bridge. But once you get back up here, finally, we'll go ahead and unlock our next guard post, which is on the west side of the bridge. And once you've unlocked that, just continue along the main road and the railroad that kind of travel together, and you're gonna get our next safe house, which is right here. So obviously kill everybody that are associated with that safe house, drop a save, and then also from that safe house we're going to get our next diamond briefcase. So from that diamond briefcase, if you kind of look just to the northeast, you should see this small little nook on your map that's in the rock. So it's in the direction that I'm facing now. You can see that tiny little nook of grass that's heading up there. So if you look northeast from the safe house, in between these two trees, okay, behind this small bush is a tiny little path that goes in between the rocks, and you can kind of sprint and jump up on this path to get up here. Okay, so you go up right where I went. Okay, and once you get up here, you're going to see a small path that kind of goes into the rock face. Follow that path all the way to the back, and eventually you're going to come to a tree behind which is our next diamond briefcase. From that diamond briefcase and safe house, now we're going to head all the way around. We're going to kind of start going north a little bit, cross over the river to our next guard post, which is basically right in the center of the map. So go ahead and scout that out. That's a health guard post, so if you need to grab some syringes, go ahead and do that. Also, our next diamond briefcase is from this guard post. So you can see I'm just going to go northwest just a little bit. Okay, so from the guard post, look northwest. Okay, and what you're looking for is a small hole in these rocks. They're kind of going over each other, and just northeast of the guard post, you can see this tiny little path here that's kind of leading in between the rocks. This is where you want to go. Go in between that path, and right on the right-hand side on some rocks is our next diamond briefcase. From that diamond briefcase, now we're going to head northeast. So there's this tiny island that's kind of in the middle of the river over here. So you can see the river kind of splits left and right, and then basically a tiny little island in this river. Okay, so on that island, you'll see a bunch of crates, some barrels. This is pretty easy to spot. You'll see a swamp boat beside it as well. But our next diamond briefcase is going to be sitting right here on this wooden crate. From that diamond briefcase, now let's head west to our next guard post, which is kind of in the northwest corner of the map, just south of Polytechnic on the east side of this bridge that crosses over the river. So go ahead and unlock that, and then from that guard post, now we're going to head straight north. Okay, so we're kind of east of Polytechnic, and we're just straight north of the ammo guard post. So you can see where I am on the map. Again, in this area is a small little alcove that's kind of bending into the rock face, and in this area there's going to be like an enemy encampment. So there's going to be a bunch of enemies up here, but there's going to be a lot of buildings, a lot of barrels, sandbags. Again, this is an enemy kind of emplacement. And when you come up here, go all the way to the northern side of this little encampment, and you're going to find your next diamond briefcase sitting on some wooden crates here. Once we've collected that diamond briefcase, now head into Polytechnic itself. So I've kind of cleared out all the enemies in this area. There are a bunch, and there's obviously a zoomed in map that you can look at as well. So if you look at, I'm kind of looking in the southwest corner, and that's where I'm going to go to kind of go in the building of the southwest corner of the Polytechnic area. Inside this building, you're going to see basically these kind of cardboard boxes that you can just destroy with your machete, and those are kind of hiding our next diamond briefcase that's sitting on this wooden crate here. From Polytechnic, let's head south now. We're going to cross back over the river, and now we're going to grab our next safe house, which is in the northwesternmost portion of the map in Eastern Bowa Seko. So go ahead and take out the enemies, unlock that, drop a save as always, and let's get moving on. Southeast from that safe house, we're going to head back to the main road where it is going along with the railroad tracks to our next guard post. So go ahead and scout that out so you can see we're southeast of where we just were at the safe house. Also, our next diamond briefcase is in this location. So from the guard post itself, okay, if we're looking off to the west along the railroad tracks, if you kind of look to the left of the railroad tracks, you should see a train car that is empty. It's got some crates and obviously an MG42 stand out in front of it. Nice enemy emplacement here, but inside that train car behind some barrels is our next diamond briefcase. Once we've collected that diamond briefcase, we're actually going to have to follow the railroad tracks west into central Bowa Seko, and we're going to have to follow this around until it kind of intersects with the road, and then take that road back into eastern Bowa Seko. Okay, so this is the way we need to get into the southwestern section of East Bowa Seko, which is all, you know, where the airfield is. You're gonna have to, you know, traverse into central and then come into the airfield area. Once you're here, now head all the way to the south. Okay, so we're at this body of water. You can see I'm in the southwestern portion of, you know, East Bowa Seko, on the west side of this body of water. So you can see where I'm at. There's this water. We're all the way over here with a bunch of rocks. Pretty obvious area, but you can use these rocks to kind of climb up. It's not really difficult or challenging, but you kind of just head up these rocks and you'll find your next diamond briefcase sitting on a wooden crate here. From that diamond briefcase, now we're gonna head east. Okay, still in this large main body of water. You can see there's this small, you know, rock that's sitting right in the central portion of this area. We're on the south side of that rock, you know, kind of this small little island. Right next to a dead tree on that area is our next diamond briefcase. From that diamond briefcase, now we're gonna head southeast. Okay, so we just head over to that main road and head south, and you can see we're kind of east of the main road, all the way in the southern section of East Bowa Seko. So I'm off into the grass. Now the way that you're gonna get up here, because it's a little bit elevated, you are gonna have to approach it from the north, but eventually you're gonna walk up the hill and find this rusted out car with our next diamond briefcase sitting on the trunk. After you've collected that, now we're gonna head into the airfield itself. So head back up the main road. You're gonna have to go into the airfield from the northern entrance. You know, it does look like you might be able to get in there from the south, but it's elevated, you can't. So you're actually gonna have to go into the airfield from the north, take out all the enemies. And now if you look in the zoomed in portion of the airfield, you can see I'm at the southern end of the airstrip. And from the southern end, you know, there's a fence back there on the southern end, but if you look off to the left, you'll see a tree with a slanted rock next to it. So what you want to do is go behind that rock. You'll find your next diamond briefcase behind a wooden pallet that you can break with your machete. So go ahead and break that and open your diamond briefcase, and that's going to be the last collectible that we need in East Bowa Seko. So now head back up west, and we're going to head into the final section of our collectible guide, which is Central Bowa Seko. We're going to be finishing off this guide in the next video. So I hope you guys have been finding it helpful, and hopefully we'll see you in part 18.